I would just go ahead and share what I do, and then because there's a story behind my art, and so as we get to Zentangle, I'll kind of talk and move through it. My creativity journey started 18 years ago with the birth of my oldest son, and I started with calligraphy and engraving. Over the years, my mission has been to create, to educate, and inspire. So the name of my company is Designs by Starla, and I focus on using art for hope and healing.
Nice.
So this is where it all began. Like I said, 18 years ago. My background is in chemistry, and I grew up in West Virginia and traveled the state of West Virginia. I did environmental training. So I would leave on Monday, come home on Friday, all was well, happy, just having a great time. Then I got married. And that was not conducive to a happy marriage. So I was able to take some time off and kind of start over and like, what would I like to do next? And kind of fell into a deep depression. Then I got pregnant. So I wasn't, for me, both of my children are miracle babies because I wasn't able to have children. So to get pregnant it wasn't like that was on my list. So it was a huge surprise. And that's when I'm like, all right, this is a chance to start over. So I started learning calligraphy. And I just poured my heart into it. And lo and behold, I was actually pretty good at it. And so I do a lot of calligraphy for weddings. I like the unique and interesting and all the things that kind of make it fun. But yeah, so I like doing, the mirrors, the invites, just different place table settings. So that's kind of where it all started. And then a few years later, my mom calls and says, can you put your fancy writing in glass? And I'm like, I don't know. I had bought at a yard sale for 50 cents this little cheapy hand engraver. And so I went and I pulled it out. It was wobbly and horrible, but yet it was beautiful. So then I started doing engraving. And so those are the two main things that I do right now is the calligraphy and engraving. I love doing on-site events for like Nordstrom's, Von Moir. I'll engrave on like perfume bottles. I do liquor and wine bottles. This was pictures of an event where I did their purses and the Ugg boots. And so that's been just a wonderful, wonderful adventure. And there's just a couple other things. My motto is you name it, I engrave it. So I kind of ventured out and I put the picture of the watch in on the side. So this guy brings me this watch to engrave on, and I'm like, okay, it's like any other watch, it's metal, fine, no problem, I can do it. And I had it sitting on my table. My son comes through and goes, Mom, that's a Rolex. And I went, okay, so what, right? It didn't register, it's a Rolex. But I was afraid to, I had to take the band off to do the engraving. I didn't want to scratch it, so I took it to my local jeweler shop. And they're like, oh, we can't do that. We don't carry this kind of watch. And I'm thinking, well, how hard can it be to pop the pin out? So I go, they recommended another jeweler. So in Oak Park, I go to this jeweler. When I walk in, there's a security guard standing there. And that's when it dawned on me, oh, this is a Rolex. So it was like a $40,000 watch that this guy brought for me to engrave. So I did the pattern on the back and then the signage in the middle. And it's kind of one of the only times I've actually been scared. Like literally, I could not touch this watch. Like before I knew it was a Rolex, no problem, right? And then all of a sudden I'm in frozen fear trying to figure out, I can't touch this, right? But I did, and it turned out beautiful and he was happy. So that was kind of a fun story. I do a lot of engraving on stones. Also for like fundraisers, different events. It's just kind of fun for them to come up. They pick the stone, they tell me what I want on it, and then I just put it on there. So that's a lot of fun too. And I educate. I do classes in Zentangle, which I'll share with you in a little bit. I also do classes calligraphy and then alcohol inks, which I'll share with you how that evolved as well. And then I inspire through small gifts of art that I create, and I also speak, hopefully to share my story of how depression and anxiety, how you can find hope and healing through art. This is some of the small gifts of art that I created. These were all created with alcohol inks. And then I went back and added some of the Zentangle patterns. Okay. And then these are some of my larger pieces. Just in the last probably year I've always worked really small, very intricate, and now I've been encouraged by another artist to work big. So that's kind of where my journey is at now. This is a 6x2, 4x2. So I'm starting to work bigger on canvas. So that is acrylic, alcohol inks, and then of course throwing in some of the different Zentangle patterns. Okay, so today we're going to learn Zentangle because it's just my utmost favorite. So by using just simple structured patterns, you can put them together and just create beautiful art. I'm assuming everyone here is an artist, but when you work with people who are not artists, they're like, oh, I can't do that. It's too hard. And it's like, it's just repeating simple little intricate patterns. And so I've taught this in like senior centers and to different people who like no art background whatsoever. And it is amazing to me to see what they can create and the smile that's on their face. So I learned about Zentangle, it was about 11 years ago. We moved from West Virginia here to Illinois for my husband's job. And at the time, I have two boys. Right now, they're 18 and 16. And they were little then. And so when we moved, my husband had his job. My kids were just starting school. And I found myself again in that place of, well, what do I do? How do I fit in? How do I, I had started my business in West Virginia, and how do I do it here when you don't know anyone and you're trying to fit in? And so again, I found myself in a really, really deep depression. I found Zentangle online. I call it one of those God moments for me. And I absolutely fell in love with it. And I literally Zentangled my way out of depression. And so that's how I went from the calligraphy engraving to Zentangle. I call it my designs, because I had created all these different things. And it's like, well, what do you do with them? So included them in my business. It was actually created by Rick and Maria Roberts, and they are from Rhode Island. And she was a calligrapher, and he was a monk, a former monk. So she was upstairs working on a piece, and you just kind of like, you get in that meditative state where you're just so absorbed in it. And he's trying to call her down for dinner, and he could not reach her. She was just so zoned out. And so he kind of knew what that state was, being a former monk. And so they're like, we have something here. And so I think it's been about 15 years ago they actually put it together. So he's the Zen and she's the Tangle. And so that's how they came up with Zentangle. And a lot of people are called, it's like doodle art. It is, but they've given it a name. And so I actually went to become certified. My mom was a 2-time breast cancer survivor, and I had showed her some of these patterns I'm doing, and just to see that light in her eyes when she created this, to be like, wow, I did this. And then my youngest son was ADHD, and to see him actually sit still to create some of these patterns, it just floored me. So that's when I knew there was something special. So I went and became certified. And what I really liked, there are lots of Zentangle and Zen doodles out there, but what I really like is, yeah, they're making money from it because they've given them names, but it's their values are let's help other people with the therapeutic benefits. Some of the benefits are it removes creativity obstacles. You're not limited by technology. If any of you are familiar with the official Zentangle art form, there are a lot of fancy tools and things that they promote, but you just need a piece of paper and a pencil. You can do it anywhere. You really do not need an artistic talent or background. If you can hold a pencil, I tell people you can do Zentangle, okay? It helps to create focus. I've seen some, it promotes team building. It definitely promotes self-confidence because when you start and you're like, well, I can't draw a straight line. That's okay, right? Because then when you're done with it, those not straight lines create a new pattern and it just becomes beautiful. And it is very healing and therapeutic. And the thing I like the most is there are no mistakes. So it may not look like what we think it'll look like in our head, but it's still beautiful and it just takes on a new shape. These are some of the different things that I have done with Zentangle. I like Zentangle usually starts out black and white, just paper. And I kind of got bored with that really quickly. So kind of like kept taking it to the next level and, oh, I can Zentangle this and that. And so just kind of kept playing. And now I do it a lot. I'm adding it on my canvases. I add it into my jewelry. I just kind of wherever something needs something, I'm using Zentangle. And the cool thing, the bird on the bottom, that was actually done digitally on my iPad. So, the sky's the limit with it. It's really cool. I do a lot of just different things. Pumpkins, that's a clock. And then the other one is actually a wine bottle. So I've incorporated my engraving. So I was just engraving patterns onto the glass. Okay. Now it's your turn to play. Now that I've intimidated you, and are there any questions before we get started? Okay, you will need just a piece of paper. I'm going to be sharing from my iPad, so I'm going to stop sharing. Oops. And now I'm going to reshare. Thank you. I'm not good with all the chat stuff going back and forth, so okay. I'll share my screen again. Technology is really good when it works. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to be working, normally when I work on the little Zentangle tiles are like 3 by 5, kind of like square shaped. I don't have one with me, but that's normal, the size that we start with. So this is going to be on your sheet of paper, just kind of draw a box. And if you want to think of it, if you have just a regular sheet of paper, you can just think of it as in quarters. So you can, maybe get 4 of these kind of boxes. So this is where we're going to start. So the first one we're going to do is called Knightsbridge. Okay. And this one is just going to start with, we're doing the vertical lines going across. So we're actually going to be setting up a checkerboard. Your lines do not have to be equal distance apart. They don't necessarily have to be straight. And it doesn't matter if you have 5 or if you have 20. So the whole concept is to make the checkerboard. So now we're going to do the vertical lines. And then this is just simply, we're going to color in every other one. So we're literally just making a checkerboard. So we're going to color in every other one. So some of you might be using, you can use pen, pencil, colored pencils, markers, you know, really just the sky's the limit. Traditional Zentangle. So if I were teaching this in my studio, we would be doing shading, we would be doing more traditional. This is just quick, you know, to get it out there. She has a Zentangle micron pen. Yeah, that's my favorite go-to, is the micron pen. Yep. And so when we get to the second row, then we're going to come down. And again, it's every other one. So we didn't color, didn't color, and then we're going to color this one. And this one, you know, it is actually one of my most favorite, because when I'm doing like flowers, you can bend your lines and it just really gives depth. And I also like it because there's really no shading. I'm not a big shading person. I'd much rather color in, you know, the light versus dark that way versus shading. And then for those of you who don't like to color, you can always just fill in with lines. And it's just going to give it a different look and a different texture. So Lori, are you familiar with Zentangle? Yeah. Have you taken classes or just on your own? Just on your own?
I've been doing it for about maybe 10 years. I stopped just short of going and becoming a CZT.
Okay.
But yeah, it's everything that you said it was.
Okay.
And then some. Yeah. I've made like each of the tangles, you know, like on a little tag, and then put them on a ring, so that if I'm working in some other medium and I need a pattern, I'll do the same thing. I'll like pick one out, like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Cool.
But
Thanks for
yeah,
sharing.
cool.
Yeah.
I think everybody here will like it.
Yes. And CZT means Certified Zentangle Teacher. And so there are a lot of perks that come with it, you know, in terms of, you know, just privileges. One of the things that is really important to me is when you see different books and things out there, if they have a CZT after their name, please buy it, because I feel like they've been through the training, they understand, you know, what the goal is. And so those are the books that I try to promote, because there are a lot of other books out there. So
Yeah, the Zendoodle books and
Doodle, yeah.
yeah,
And not that those aren't good. Not that those aren't good, but it's just
no.
not, you know, yeah.
Yeah. Here's
Okay. Are we ready for the next one?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hope I'm spelling this right. Hollybaugh. I'm not. Hold on, sorry. It's Hollybaugh. And this is the only one I remember the name where it came from, because their daughter's name is Holly. She's the one that named it, so they named it Hollybaugh. So with this one, we're going to create just some lines, and the term that I use a lot is aura, which is the same as duplicate. So I'm just going to go from the side up to the top, so any angle, and then I'm going to aura it or duplicate it like that. And again, yours doesn't have to look like mine. It doesn't, there's no, you know, it's just as long as you go from one side to the other. So then I'm going to do it again. This time I'm just going to kind of go right through the middle. So The main thing is when you come to the line, you stop, pick up your pen, and keep on going. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to come there, stop, pick up my pen, and keep on going. So it kind of will give the look that we're making roads. So it looks like it's going underneath. And so the goal is to fill our space. So I might, and it's entirely up to you how you see it, but I'm going to come over here. When I come to my line, I'm going to stop, pick up my pen, keep going. When I come over here, I'm going to stop, pick up my pen, keep going. And then you're going to just continue doing those lines until you feel, so when I get there, I stop, pick up my pen, keep going, stop, and duplicate. So this one's considered a dark pattern. So the whole goal is to, we're going to be coloring in this space. So if you really, really like to color, you could be done. Or you could say, I don't want to color that much. That's too much. So let's see. Yeah, I can erase. Yay. So then I keep going until I just literally fill up my space. And the whole key is when you come to a line, stop, pick up your pen, and keep on going. And then I just try different angles. I might do another one here. And I usually keep going until sometimes I can't tell which ones are my roads, which ones, you know, because we're going to color the background. So that's how I know when I've kind of like, okay, that's enough. And then the goal is we're going to color in or darken this background area. And so the patterns by themselves, okay, not so great, right? I mean, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, anybody can do that. You can do this, but it's when you put them together and you have like a dark pattern next to a light pattern that you get the 3D effect, and it really starts just looking cool. And it was doing Hollybaugh, this exact pattern. I was doing it on a Christmas ornament. And I really just didn't like, I was using a Sharpie marker and I didn't really like how it was looking. So I took an alcohol pad and started to wipe it off. And that's when I went, oh my gosh, because the ink kind of started spreading and I thought that looks pretty cool. And that's when I pulled out my alcohol inks from a workshop I did like 5 years ago that I didn't know what to do with them and started playing with the inks. And that's when I just like went crazy with the inks. So. And with this one too, you can do the same as the Knightsbridge. You can just kind of draw lines, fill in the space however seems appropriate to you. When I fill it in completely, it's considered dark. If I'm doing it a little bit lighter, or just lines, I would consider it a light pattern. And then as another option, you can always color in the actual road to give it another look. So there's just a lot of options and things that you can do with just some, doing the lines. Does anyone want to show me either their Hollybaugh or the Knightsbridge? I'm not sure if I can see it, but I will. Oh yeah. Good. All right. Nice. Nice. Very nice. Yep, and I like how Laura, if you can see Laura's, she kind of did some curved lines, so there's really no rules in Zentangle because it's your interpretation of the, you know, your pattern. So I really, really love that. Thanks for sharing that. So that's just, that makes it really cool. I can't really see yours, Linda, because it's
I
kind
know
of
I'm going in and out. Sorry.
yeah,
Oh well. There we go. Can you see that? Oops.
a little bit. Really cool. Really cool. Cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move along. If you haven't finished, don't worry, because I want you to spend most of the time, you know, once you get the pattern and you kind of understand where we're going with it, then save the energy for our final piece. Okay, this one's going to go. So this one is called Pretoms. And I'm really not good with details, so like names, I'm like, eh. So this one I just put my pen anywhere on the paper. I just put my pen down and then I just go around and around and I close it off. So we're making like little swirls, but the whole goal is to close it off. Okay. So then I'm going to do another one. And again, our goal is to fill our space that we had. So they don't have to be the same size. You can go around till you're like, okay, that looks good. So you can make them bigger. But the whole thing is you want them closed off. And so they can overlap. So it's just like when we did the hollow boss. So if I'm overlapping, I put my pen down, I go around and around. When I come to the line, I'm just going to stop, pick up my pen, keep on going and close it off. And again, with this one, the goal is to fill the space. So the background space is what we will darken or color in. And again, that's entirely up to you. How many you want to put in your space. If you're going to put, like, you want it to go off the page, so it would be the same. You go here, here, when you come to your line, pick up the pen, keep on going. I'm losing my voice. And then you can just keep going. And then whenever you feel like, okay, I'm pretty good with that, then you would come back in and fill in the areas without anything in it. And I guess for me, I just intuitively like, yeah, that looks like enough, you know what I mean? And then I start coloring in. And then if I'm, you know, going along and I'm like, well, okay, I'll go over here, and you can still keep adding, you know, if you change your mind. And so that's the cool thing. So the ones I'm showing you tonight are like my favorite go-to. And you know, like when you go to a doctor's office, your appointment's at 2, it's 2:15, you have another meeting later, you're going to be late. And that anxiety just kind of like, come on, I wish they'd hurry up, you know? And for me, I'm just like, oh, because I like to be on time. And so I just carry a notebook in my purse and a pen. And I literally, okay, it's all right, pull it out. I'll just start doing some pattern. And the next thing you know, they're calling my name. I'm calm. So it helps me communicate better, you know, rather than being mad because the doctor's late. Well, I'm in a much calmer state to have the conversation we need to have. So it's really helped me in lots of ways. Okay, let's see some pretoms. Nice. Oh, nice. Yep. Nice. Very nice.
Oh, can't do it.
Kind of, Linda. Kind of. Okay. Am I going too fast? Are we good?
Good.
Okay. So the next one is the web. So for this one, I literally just take my space and I'm going to draw a diagonal. So I'm going to go from corner to corner with a line and corner to corner. So we're making an X. So even if my shape I'm using is, say, a circle, I'm still going to make an X. So that's kind of the beginnings of this one. And then I'm going to divide it in half. And then I'm going to divide it in half again. Okay. And then I like to use, I call it the smiley face. So it's just a little curved line we're going to use. And for this one, I do a lot of turning. I'm going to turn my iPad. I don't think you can see me doing that, but you guys just turn your paper so that you can kind of see how it's going. So I'm just going to pick any one. You pick any one, and I'm just going to start in the center, and I'm just going to make that little smiley face. And then I'm going to turn, I'm turning my iPad. I'm just going to connect to the next one. So I'm going to go from that line over to the next line, making that little smiley face. And then I'm just going to do it all the way around. Okay. And then I'm going to start again. I'm going to make another row. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to, and kind of you want to aura whatever's there if you can. I mean, but spider webs are never really like exact. So, and that's what makes them cool. And then you're just going to continue all the way around. And again, if you're having trouble kind of seeing how it goes, just keep turning your paper so that you can see that. And then we're going to go all the way. We're going to do it again. We're going to go all the way around, filling it in.
What's this one called?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called the web.
Mm.
Yep. Okay. This one is what's upside down. It's upside down. But it looks the same other than the web is upside down. But so this one is really, really good if you're using pencils for shading. And most of the time, like I said, I'm not a big shader. So when I'm using the pattern, I do the same as Nightbridge. I just color in every other one.
Wow.
And so it just kind of really, this one in particular, I teach a whole class on shading, so I'm trying not to get into any of that. That it can actually be a whole class, just shading. But this one's a fun one, you know, Halloween. I've done it on my pumpkins. It's just a really pretty cool looking one. And then if you happen to make a frowny face instead of a smiley face, you just have another different, you know, unique look to it. So. And again, you can change the look by, you know, rather than completely coloring it in, you can do different lines. You can, sometimes I like to fill in spaces rather than coloring. I like to do, they call them orbs. They're just like little circles. So sometimes I like to just fill in with little circles. And so that's always a lot of fun too, and just kind of gives it a different, whole different look. So. Any questions? Are we good with the web? All right, we have one more. And there are over, at last that I looked, oh, let me see. Oh, I can see that one. Nice.
Cool.
Nice,
So
Linda.
fun. So fun.
Yay. The last time I did have a chart, I think there are over 1,600 different patterns that they have put names to. So they may not be original patterns, like they may have went to the medieval manuscripts and they just kind of formed something off that, but they have actually that many patterns that they have named. And you can go to zentangle.com and that's where they have all the patterns, and there'll be step out sheets which show you kind of what I'm doing, but it'll give you more of a reference. When I teach a class, I give the step outs to you so you can take them home so you can remember. But yeah. Okay, so the last one is Crescent Moon. Oh, good, I'm back to. Okay. And this one we're literally going to, I'm going to start in the corner. I'm going to go around and kind of make little scallops. So I'm just kind of making little, yeah, kind of scallops, little humps. And I'm going all the way around, and then I'm going to start again up the side. And we're going to go all the way around. So they're like half circles. And again, they all don't have to be the same. Part of what makes it look cool is, you know, some are a little bigger, some are smaller. Okay. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to make my little half moon under it, and I'm going to color that in. So I'm R-ing whatever shape is there, and then I'm just coloring it in. Now we're going to go back and we're going to, this is where we're going to make our crescent. So I'm just going to start here where those two come, these two come together right there. And I'm just going to go up and over and come back down in that space. So I'm kind of that's how I'm making the crescent. And then I'm going to come over here where those met, and I'm going to do the same. So I'm coming where they meet, I'm going up and then back down. And then I'm going to do that all the way around. So it's kind of like we're going in that same space, kind of going up and down. And that's where that crescent shape comes in. And then we're just going to keep on going around, working our way towards the center. And so like, for instance, on this one, I kind of came over here and I'm going to skip this corner one and I'm just going to come over here. And so we're just going to kind of skip that one. So when you can't really make a good crescent, just kind of skip it and then we'll come back to that later. And that usually happens in the corner, but not always. But this one's okay, so I'm just going to keep on going. And then here in the corner, this one came over and touched this one. So then I'm just going to kind of skip that one and just keep going. And then here, I'm going to actually skip this one in the corner and just come out. And I'll skip that. And then in those areas, when we get to the middle, we'll come back and just fill those in. So, but as you'll see, they'll start touching and then you can kind of just skip and keep on going. And then you'll get to a point where they're kind of all touching. So when I get to like this space here where there's really not much more to do, then that's when I go back and I'll color in. Okay, and then I'll go back and touch where I, you know, where those corners where we had it, kind of those little white spaces. So I go back and fill that in. And I might be able to get one more here, but I really like kind of leaving a little bit more because this kind of gives it its 3D look. So I might just leave that like that. And as you can see, you should be able to see on yours how it's like bringing them all in towards the center. And it's really got this, you should be getting a cool 3D effect. How we doing? Good? Yeah. I like this one a lot too. This one, you if for those of you like if you want to do shading, I'm going to use red. So if I was going to shade, I would just darken in with my pencil each of these areas just to make them look so they're going more in. So I might just do my pencil there, and then I use my finger. Zentangle has a tortillon, the little smudge tool they call it. I just use my finger most of the time, and then I would go and just kind of smudge that out, and then you're going to get even more of that 3D effect. So it's pretty cool. All right. See some crescent moons. Ooh, nice. Yep, nice. I like your web too.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Oh, nice. Yep. Very nice. All right, are we ready to put them together?
Yep.
All right. So I kind of want you working a little small because I know some of you are making them real big, but maybe the size of an index card. We're going to make our, this is the area we're going to work on. So usually when I'm starting with something, I'm going to start with I usually put a dot. I'm going to do back to. I usually put a dot in each of the area. And when they showed this to me, I was just in amazement. I don't know how many of you have had a blank canvas or blank whatever, and you're just like looking at it going, I just don't know where to start. Right? And so just by putting those dots there, now you have like, oh, it's a framework. I know where to start. So that's how I almost always start. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect them. Basically, we're connecting the dots. And it doesn't matter if it's straight, curvy. But this is going to be our space we're going to work on. And we have, how are we doing on time? Oh, I think we're good. So we have 5 patterns. We're going to create 5 lines, where they call them strings. So the first place I usually start is I'm going to go corner to corner. Now I have 2 spaces. I have the top and the bottom. So that's 2. And then I might go like that. So now I have 4. And then I want 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I might just draw a line down there because I want to create 5 spaces. We have 5 patterns. Okay, so now you get to pick your favorite one, or you can follow along with me. So I'm going to start with Knightsbridge, and I'm going to start here in this space. There's no particular rhyme or reason where to start. You can start wherever you want. But since I showed it to you straight, this one to me makes the most sense for Knightsbridge. So I'm going to do my verticals going across. And I'm ordering whatever that top line is. So it's kind of at an angle. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and aura this line, creating my boxes. And then I'm going to color in every other one. And this is really when the creative process comes in. You know, you can just, once you start, you know, creating your own and just getting into the coloring and all of that, that's really when the benefits kick in the most. I love, usually I play music, like if we're doing it in person, and, you know, so it really just creates, you can just feel like people are tense, you know, and then you play the music and people start relaxing. And so, yeah, that's really cool. iPad's not the best for coloring. Okay, so that would be the first one. Since I, you know, did the dark, next to it, you would probably want to pick a lighter one. You know, really doesn't matter, but so the biggest impact is when you have a dark versus a light one. So I would probably do pre-tomps in the square next to it, just so it's a little bit different. Like you can still put, you know, another square pattern next to a square pattern, but you're going to get more impact in your piece by choosing, here's squares, now I'm going to do the circles. So with pre-tomps, I just put my pen down and I go around and around, and then I close it off. And so I'm just going to fill that space. think that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to color in those spaces where I don't have anything. And it kind of blends in with the next pattern, which is part of what makes it all look cool. Okay, and then my next space, I'm going to do the web, and I'm going to do this little cheese looking slice at the top just to show you that it's an odd shape. But so I just kind of visually, there's the center. And again, I'm making an X. So that's how you start the web is just, I'm in a weird space, but I just make my X, and then I divide it in half, and I divide it in half. So then you still have that same base. And then I just go around with my smiley face until I get to the end. And if you are using a pencil, this is great to shade. So I'll just kind of use red to show you. So you would just kind of, your pencil from there to the center on each one of those. And kind of smear it, and that really, really will give it that cool 3D look. Or the other option that we did earlier was to fill in every other one. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to do Crescent Moon up here in the top. So I'm just going to start, make my little half circles or scallops. Okay. And then I'm going to go back and fill those in. So I'm just borrowing that shape. Okay, and then I'm just gonna, this is where we go up, following where it begins, we just go up and then down, back down. And it gets a little trickier, but you just keep going, you know. Okay, and when you get close to the center, then you fill it in. Is everybody okay?
A little far behind.
A little far behind, okay. So I'm hoping to do another, they've asked me to do another meetup, probably in June. I'm going to do the alcohol inks. So I'll kind of do a demonstration of those. I've found it difficult. Zentangle to me is very easy to do online, but the inks, it's kind of harder to teach online because I want people to have specific supplies. So I've kind of steered away from that, but hoping, you know, because, yeah, I've taken some other online classes, you know, where they want you to have specific supplies and people still show up with, well, will this work and will that work? And it's like, ugh. So I haven't braved that yet, but. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the last one, the Crescent Moon, and you can still just keep working as you go. And then I'm gonna go pull a couple books for you to, so I can show you which ones I learned from. So for the Halabah, so I just usually, okay, here's the top. I'm just gonna go make my line and then aura it and come back down. And then I'm gonna go across. And then I might come over here. But the key to that one is when you come to a line, stop and pick up your pencil. That's the whole magic to that one, is so the, you know, it looks like they're going up and over. I might do one up across. And I might do one more. Okay. And then you would just go back and fill that part in. Okay. And then while you guys, I'll leave mine up for a minute and then I'm gonna go get my books. Okay, I lied, I don't know where my books are. I was going to recommend Susan McNeil. Her books are absolutely fabulous. And there's probably, I think she's up to 12 now. And so each book, it's kind of like a booklet pamphlet, like they're smaller books. And so each one she'll go through maybe 20 different patterns, and then she gives projects to try that you can do. But her books are awesome, and those are the ones that I bought all of them and just started working through them and learned the patterns and started creating some of the projects that were in them. So how we doing?
Getting there.
Getting there. All right. Can I stop sharing my screen? Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Just do my mouse here. Let's see. Cool. All right. Now I can see everybody. For those of you off camera, I would love to see your work. So if anybody's finished and they want to show it, I would love to see your final piece. Ooh, nice. Very nice. Like it. Love it. Oh, very nice. I love that. Neat.
Fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And the funnest thing, oh, look at that. The coolest thing as an instructor is, you're giving these simple, we're drawing the lines, we're doing this, but every single one is going to be different and unique and cool. So to me, that's the amazing part. So maybe I don't know how to do a screenshot, but if somebody knows how to do a screenshot, we can all hold ours up and do a picture.
Caitlin,
Command Shift 3.
What is it?
Command Shift 3.
Yeah, Command Shift 3.
Ooh. Okay. Does anybody else want to have theirs in the picture?
Linda, we can't see yours because of your background.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
And can you hold it out straight? Like hold it from the top. Well, we can kind of see it. Okay,
Okay.
let's see.
Command Shift 3, right?
Mhm.
Huh?
If you're on a Mac, yes, Command Shift 3.
I'm not.
No, Command Shift 4.
It's Command Shift 4 if you're going
Not
to
a Mac.
drag. If you're going to drag.
Yeah, if you drag, yeah.
Can you see it now?
oh,
Yes.
you use
Yeah,
colored
now I can see
crayons,
it.
Linda.
Now I can see it.
Got rid of the virtual. Now you get to see
There
my
you go.
crazy office.
I'm
Oh,
not sure
look,
if I got it or not, but
TJ.
yay!
We can copy, we can
Yeah,
fix it.
Woohoo.
nice. How exciting.
Really fun. I
It
love
is.
the building. It's so organic. This comes from this, comes from this, and you
Yep.
put it together.
You can just put them together and things just, it's limitless. So,
And it is stress reducing. I already feel like really good.
yeah. Yep.
Especially with a glass of wine.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
helps
goodness.
too.
Glass of wine, a little bit of music, just
Glass of wine, Google.
Really cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're
What do you
welcome.
call the integrated one? What do you call the final project? Does it have a name? Just final project, huh?
Final project.
Oh, Alicia's got a glass of wine.
Oh, I'm going for one. So,
Feel left out.
okay. Well, thank you guys very much. Reach
Oh.
out if you have any questions.
What was
if you
that gal's
decide-
name with her? What was that gal's name with her books again?
Susan McNeil.
Susan McNeil. Thank you.
Do you miss chemistry?
Yes. Do I miss chemistry?
Yeah.
No, because like before I had kids, if someone would have said I was creative, I would have laughed in their face. Like, I'm not creative, because I thought of creative as, making note cards or, I just really didn't think of myself as being creative. But now I feel like I'm experimenting all the time. That I love experimenting. I like asking what if I put this with this, or, to me, that's way more exciting. Because they don't tell me, what to do. I just get to do it. I just get to play. And so I don't miss it.
Don't you think molecules do the same thing sometimes?
Probably, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
hey, I just want to play over
I just
here.
want to play. And we tend to want to say, no, we want this. And, so,
Wow. Thank you so much. I feel like really, I feel like I just had a massage.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. And it was certainly nice
Good.
meeting all of you.
Good.
It was a
Nice
pleasure.
meeting you
So
too.
much
Thank
fun.
you,
Yeah.
Starla.
Okay.
Thanks, Darla. Thanks for your energy too.
All right.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.